Hate crime statistics from the U.S. Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Out of the 7,160 incidents reported in 2005, 54.7% of them were racially motivated. 17.1% of them were motivated by religion. 14.2% of the incidents resulted from sexual orientation bias. 13.2% were from national origin ethnicity bias, and the final 0.7% were disability bias. The breakdown of the racial bias is the majority at 68.2% were anti-African American, 19.9% were anti-Caucasian, Asian American and people of more than one race each were at 4.9%. The last 2% were Native American or Alaskan Native bias. The majority of sexual orientation hate crimes were against male homosexuals at 60.9% of the total. 19.5% of the crimes were anti-homosexual in general. 15.4% were biased against female homosexuals. 2.3% were anti-bisexual, and only 2% were anti-heterosexual. In the breakdown of religion hate crimes, 68.5% were anti-Jewish. 11.1% were anti-Islamic, 4.6% were biased against Catholics, 4.4% were anti-Protestant, a small 0.4% were anti-atheism, 3.2% were biased against groups of people with different religions, and the remaining 7.8% were biased against religions listed as other. The types of hate crimes that occurred are as following. 30.3% were intimidation. Vandalism came in as a close second with 30.2%. 18.7% of the crimes were simple assault, and 12.7% were aggravated assault. The final 8.2% is a combination of all other crimes.
So, are you still asking yourselves, why should I care? This does not affect me, and never will. Well, you're wrong. Hate crimes are committed with the intent not only of sending a message to the targeted victim, but also to the community as a whole. They are meant to send a message that certain groups of us are not welcome in a particular community. You still can't relate? When hate crimes take place to an individual you might not even know personally, you are still indirectly affected because we are all somehow related, whether it be race, gender, class, or sex. Even when a violent and/or demeaning activity takes place, we all need to recognize the pain because we are all affected. The National Institute of Mental Health founded the first major study of the consequences of hate crimes on victims, narrowing it to anti-gay hate crimes. Preliminary research indicates that hate crimes have more serious psychological effects than non-bias motivated crimes. Victims have intense feelings of vulnerability, anger, and depression, physical ailments and learning problems, and very difficult interpersonal relations. All symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, and it can all be brought on by hate crimes. It's a lifelong thought process that generally impacts lives. Put yourself in the victim's shoes. Hate crimes need to stop, and the only way we are going to be able to put a dent into this horrible activity is to ask yourself, what if it was me? Quit allowing these crimes as a society to occur. Allow change and diversity. Stop fighting the inevitable. The opportunity to be threatened, humiliated, and to live in fear and being beaten to death is only a special right our culture bestows on human sexuals. This came from Diane Carmen from the Denver Post. Is this what we want from our future generations of children to grow up believing? Of course not. Something needs to be done to stop the horrible crime. Awareness is the answer, not caring is the issue.
Even now, as you're producing this video, there are bias-motivated acts of vandalism happening around St. Cloud State's campus. Around November 13th, a swastika had been carved into a bathroom stall in Atwood Center. And then again, around November 19th, a report of several swastikas drawn on mirrors in the bathroom in Holes Hall, and then a partial of what appeared to be a swastika burned into the roof of an elevator. The response the campus gave was an expected one. Anti-hate posters went up everywhere around campus that same week. Dozens of people signed this poster showing their support.